baby girls. Maybe like that. What do you think? See the old trees behind me? In this tiny little room. Got a new book tonight. It's The Stinky Cheese Man. And other fairly stupid tales. That's funny. Look at this, even before the book starts. Got a bunch of writing in here. I think it's supposed to be funny. Let's check it out. I have found a kernel of wheat, said the little red hen. Now who will help me plant this wheat? Where is that lazy dog? Where's that lazy cat? Where's that lazy mouse? Wait a minute, hold everything. You can't tell your story right here. This is the end paper. The book hasn't even started yet. Who are you? Will you help me plant the wheat? I'm Jack. I'm the narrator. And no, I can't help you plant the wheat. I'm a very busy guy trying to put a book together. Now, why don't you just disappear for a few pages? I'll call when I need you. But who will help me with my story? Who will help me draw a picture of the wheat? Who will help me spell the wheat? Listen, hen, forget the wheat. Here comes the title page. So the narrator there is annoyed. It says title page for the Stinky Cheese Man and other fairly stupid tales. Oh no. Look at the words are the wrong way. Upside down. This book is dedicated to our close, personal, special friend. Oh, it says your name here. So let's say Faith and Kaylee and Avery. And then it's by JS and LS. I know, the page is upside down. I meant to do that. Whoever looks at the dedication stuff anyhow, if you really want to read it, you can always stand on your head. Introduction. A long time ago, people used to tell magical stories of wonder and enchantment. Those stories were called fairy tales. Those stories are not in this book. The stories in this book are almost fairy tales, but not quite. The stories in this book are fairly stupid tales. I mean, what else would you call a story like Goldilocks and the Three Elephants? This girl walking through the woods smells peanut porridge cooking. She decides to break into the elephant's house, eat the porridge, sit in the chairs, and sleep in the beds. But when she gets in the house, she can't climb up on baby elephant's chair because it's too big. She can't climb up on mama elephant's chair because it's much too big. And she can't climb up on papa elephant's chair because it's much, much too big. So she goes home. The end. And if you don't think that's fairly stupid, you should read Little Red Running Shorts, or maybe The Stinky Cheese Man. In fact, you should definitely go read the stories now because the rest of the introduction just kind of goes on and on. It doesn't really say anything. I stuck it on to the end here so it would fill up the page and make it look like I really knew what I was talking about. So stop now. I mean it. Quit reading. Turn the page. If you read this last sentence, it won't tell you anything. Jack. Up the Hill, Fairy Tale Forest, 1992. It says, Surgeon General's warning. It has been determined that these tales are fairly stupid and probably dangerous to your health. Yikes. Let's see. Chicken licking. Yeah, I'm going to take the book jacket off. It's bothering me. Chicken licking. Once upon a time, Chicken Licken was standing around with a piece of something, fell on her head. She wasn't the brightest thing on two legs, so she started running around in circles, clucking, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling. We must tell the president." Chicken Licken ran to her dear friend Ducky Lucky and clucked, Ducky Lucky, the sky is falling, we must tell the president." "Let's go," quacked Ducky Lucky. Chicken Licken and Ducky Lucky ran to their friend Goosey Lucy and yelled, Goosey Lucy, the sky is falling, we must tell the president." "Let's go," honked Goosey Lucy. Chicken Licken, Ducky Lucky, and Goosey Lucy ran to the friend Cocky Locky and yelled, Cocky Locky, the sky is falling, we must tell the president. Let's go, crowed Cocky Locky. Wait a minute, cried Jack the narrator. I forgot the table of contents. Hey, you're not in this story, said Chicken Licken. I know, said Jack the narrator, but I came to warn you. The table of contents is, the sky is falling, clucked Chicken Licken. We must tell the president. So Chicken Licken, Ducky Lucky, Goosey Lucy, and Cocky Locky ignored Jack the narrator and ran off to catch a plane to Washington. Just outside the airport, they met Foxy Loxy. Foxy Loxy, the sky is falling, we must tell the president, yelled Chicken Licken, Ducky Lucky, Goosey Lucy, and Cocky Locky. Well, come with me, said Foxy Loxy. I know a shortcut to the airport. Foxy Loxy led Chicken Licken, Ducky Lucky, Goosey Lucy, and Cocky Locky to the cave. He didn't get to eat them, though, because Chicken Licken was almost right. The sky wasn't falling. The table of contents is what fell. It squished everybody in the end. That's crazy. Table of contents. Chicken Licken's on page 4, which, I don't know, must be back here. The Princess of the Bowling Ball is on page 10. A really ugly duckling. Who knows? These all get on the order. The Other Frog Prince, The Red Running Shorts, Jack the Bean Problem, Cinder Rumpelstiltskin, The Tortoise and the Hare, The Stinky Cheese Man, The Boy Who Cried Cow Patty. Who knows? Here's the first story. The Princess and the Bowling Ball. Once upon a time there was a prince, and the prince's dad and mom, the king and queen, somehow got into their royal heads that no princess would be good enough for their boy unless she could feel a pea through 100 mattresses. So it should come as no surprise that the prince had a very hard time finding a princess. Every time he met a girl, his mom and dad would pile 100 mattresses on top of a pea and then invite her to sleep over. When the princess came down for breakfast, the queen would ask, "How did you sleep, dear?" The princess would politely say, "Fine, thank you." And the king would show her to the door. Now this went on for 3 years, and of course nobody ever felt a pea under 100 mattresses. Then one day the prince met a girl of his dreams. He decided he'd better do something about it. That night, before the princess went to bed, the prince slipped his bowling ball under the 100 mattresses. When the princess came down for breakfast the next morning, the queen asked, "How did you sleep, dear?" "This might sound odd," said the princess, "but I think you need another mattress. I felt like I was sleeping on a lump as big as a bowling ball." The king and queen were satisfied. The prince and princess were married, and everyone lived happily, though maybe not completely honestly, ever after. The end. My goodness, that's a silly story. Of course you can't feel a pea under 100 mattresses. Oh, here we go. The Really Ugly Duckling. Once upon a time, there was a mother and father duck who had 7 baby ducklings. 6 of them were regular looking ducklings. The 7th was a really ugly duckling. Everyone used to say, "What a nice looking bunch of ducklings," all except that one. "Boy, he's really ugly." The really ugly duckling heard these people, but he didn't care. He knew that one day he would probably grow up to be a swan and be bigger and look better than anything in the pond. Maybe. Let's find out. Well, as it turned out, he was just a really ugly duckling, and he grew up to be just a really ugly duck. The end. Poor guy. The Other Frog Prince. Once upon a time, there was a frog. One day, when he was sitting on his lily pad, he saw a beautiful princess sitting by the pond. He hopped in the water, swam over to her, and poked his head out of the weeds. "Pardon me, oh beautiful princess," he said in his most sad and pathetic voice. "I wonder if you could help me." The princess was about to jump up and run, but she felt sorry for the frog with the sad and pathetic voice. So she asked, "What can I do to help you, little frog?" "Well," said the frog, "I'm not really a frog, but a handsome prince who was turned into a frog by a wicked witch's spell. and the spell can only be broken by the kiss of a beautiful princess. The princess thought about this for a second, then lifted the frog from the pond and kissed him. I was just kidding, said the frog. He jumped back into the pond, and the princess wiped the frog slime off her lips. Ugh. The end. That one's silly. Oh, no, they're stupid. They're silly. Little Red Running Shorts. Okay, I've got these things running smoothly now, said Jack the narrator. And this next story is even better than the last three. See, it's about a girl who runs very fast and always wears red running shorts. That's where her name comes from. Get it? So anyway, the girl is running to her granny's house when she meets a wolf. He tricks her into taking the long way while he takes the shortcut. Now, this is the good part because Red runs so fast that she beats the wolf to Granny's house. He knocks on the door. Red answers it. And guess what she says? My, what slow feet you have. And that's it. The end. Is that a great story or what? So sit back, relax, and enjoy Little Red Running Shorts. And now, like I already said, Little Red Running Shorts. You just told me the story, says Little Red Running Shorts. You're not going to tell it again. You can't say that, said Jack. You have to start with Once Upon a Time. No way, says the wolf. You blew it. But you guys are next. Look at the title at the top of the page. Little Red Running Shorts. That's you. Let's go, wolf. We're out of here. Wait, you can't do this. Your story's supposed to be 3 pages long. What do I do when we turn the page? What do you think he'll do? He just left it blank. No more story there. I planted the wheat, I watered the wheat, I harvested the wheat. Now, do I get to tell my story? Said the little red hen. Say, what's going on here? Why is that page blank? Is that my page? Where's that lazy dog? Where's that lazy cat? Where's that lazy mouse? How do they expect me to tell a whole story by myself? Where is that lazy narrator? Where is that lazy illustrator? Where's that lazy author? Where are all these people? It takes a lot of people to make a book. Jack's bean problem. Forget that hen. Now it's time for the best story in the whole book. My story. Because once upon a time, I traded our last cow for 3 magic beans and... Hey, Giant! What are you doing down here? You're wrecking my whole story. I don't like that story, said the giant. You always trick me. That's the best part, said Jack. Fee, fi, fum, fooey. I have made my own story. Great rhyme, Giant. And I'm sure your story is just as good, but there's no room for it. So why don't you climb back up the beanstalk? I'll be up in a few minutes to steal your gold and your singing harp. I'll grind your bones to make my bread. I knew you'd understand. And there's another little thing that's been bugging me. Could you please stop? Talking in uppercase letters is really messing up my pages. I will read my story now, said the giant. And he did. Giant story. The end of the evil stepmother said, I'll huff and snuff and give you 3 wishes. The beast changed into 7 dwarves, happily ever after, for a spell had been cast by a wicked witch once upon a time. That's your story? Said Jack. You gotta be kidding. That's not a fairly stupid story. Or stupid tale. That's an incredibly stupid tale. It's an unbelievably stupid tale. That is the most stupid tale I ever... Whack! The giant grabbed Jack and dragged him to the next page. Cool. Giant made his own story by ripping up other stories. Jack's story. Once upon a time, there was a giant. The giant squeezed Jack and said, "Tell me a better story, or I will grind your bones to make my bread, and when your story is finished, I will grind your bones to make my bread. Anyway, ho, ho, ho." The giant laughed an ugly laugh. Jack thought, "He'll kill me if I do. He'll kill me if I don't. There's only one way to get out of this." Jack cleared his throat and then began his story. Look how small these words get. Super small. Here we go. Let's read it. Once upon a time, there was a giant. The giant squeezed Jack and said, "Tell me a better story, or I will grind your bones and make my bread. And when your story is finished, I will grind your bones and make my bread anyway. Ha, ho, ho, ho." The giant laughed an ugly laugh. Jack thought, "He'll kill me if I do, he'll kill me if I don't. There's only one way to get out of this." Jack cleared his throat and began his story. Oh my goodness, and it goes over and over and over and over again. And it gets smaller and smaller. Like way down here it says, "Tell me a better story, I will grind your bones, make my bread, and when your story's finished, I will grind your bones and make my..." Over and over again. Cinderella Stiltskin, or the girl who really blew it. Once upon a time there was a beautiful girl named Cinderella who lived with her wicked stepmother and two ugly stepsisters. The step relatives were not only wicked and ugly, they also made Cinderella clean the house every day. One day, the local prince announced that he was holding a fabulous ball at his castle. Everyone was invited. The stepmother, the stepsisters, all got dressed up to go. But, as usual, they made Cinderella clean the house so she didn't have time to get ready. After the stepmother and stepsisters left for the ball, Cinderella sat down and began to cry. Just then a little man appeared. "Please don't cry," he said. "I can help you spin straw into gold." "I don't think that will do me much good," said Cinderella.